really fuck with me in the world. So like I was on air with Kim and somebody else that I don't want to mention today. It is New Jersey related. And I'm sitting here in my gorgeous Sag Harbor home. And I literally at my front door from where I'm sitting right now, see a police officer. Now I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like you and I did an interview recently where I forgot what happened. I had to walk off the set. I had to walk off.
We both did at different times. Although the interview was like an hour and 20 minutes long. It was very long, but I had to take a phone call. You had to take a phone call. I'm excited about this interview, by the way.
I'm like,
I'm getting hungry about this. Okay, keep going. I'm eating. Yes.
You keep eating. I do Manjaro. I no longer eat. Tonight I'm going out to dinner. I don't want to eat. I just want a vodka. Anyway, I see this is a real story. This just happened. I see a police person at my front door and I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm actually walking off this interview. Kim, continue. So I'm like, can I help you? Like the guy didn't even knock. And whether you open your door for a police person or not, you don't have to, that's a whole nother thing. But I did because I'm like, let's deal. And I'm like, he's like, he's like, did you call 911? And I'm like, no. So then he's like this, and I'm like, he's like, can I have your name and birthday? And I'm like, sure, I'll give it. Like, I literally have to slam the door in your face. I am literally on the air. Like I am conducting an interview for Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. Shout out to like the Sag Harbor Police Department if you want to get all your boys to listen. So after this happened, I called Kim and I'm like, this 911, it turned out no one called 911 from this apartment. And he said like, it might be like, in the surrounding areas, which I'm like, please, by all means. Kim is like, listen to me. Cause I said like, do you think?
I think you were like that swatting, that happens where they just did it to Nicki Minaj. Somebody called in, they called the police and basically said her son was being abused. And so the cops showed up for a check and she like went the F off. People can do that. I think it's called swatting. Go on. I gotta Google this.
Well, yeah. I said, is this whore, Margaret? Here I go again with the bad language. Is this Margaret Josephs? Is this Melissa who this is where my sick mind goes because these women are so sick with the finstas. They do this 24/7. So this is just where my crazy mind goes that like, this sounds crazy that there's a police person at my door. It turns out, so Kim is like, listen to me. You think Margaret and Melissa are going to fuck with you? Let me tell you something. And then I'm not going to repeat the things that were said, but I'm like, okay, I feel better with Kim on my side. Then Kim is like, you need to call the police department right now that you're off there and get more information right now or walk up. Cause I live right in the center of town in Sag Harbor. So I called them. It's all fine. It truly is that they knocked on a neighbor's door and they thought, I said, listen, I'm not arguing with you. Like, thank God you understand we have to show up. I'm like, well, thank God you fucking did. Because if I was tied in my closet and I made a 911 call, I would hope that granted, I shooed you away and said I was
very serious. They take it. Yeah, of course. They have to. Like,
you know what though? Can I tell you something?
Okay, go on.
You like this story. I mean, I swear to God.
Okay, go on. No, I think you're getting paranoid. I think you're getting a little paranoid about. Go on.
I know. Well, this is what happens when you work 20. These are sick women. These are two sick women, and I have nothing against either of the women. But that's where they're crazy. And Kim is like, listen to me. If either one of them, so I'm like, okay, I feel better now, but I also feel better with Mr. Dietl on my side. But it all turned out, it was just like there. He's like, because the guy called me back. I was like, the police officer. I'm like, were you the gentleman who was there? I'm like, well, explain to me what number called 911. Was it David Yontev's cell phone or was it? He's like, look, we can't really tell when somebody did it, but he's like, we knocked on a neighbor's door and it was in the general vicinity and and I'm like, okay, listen. I just needed to know, I just wanted to follow up on this so I can sleep tonight, like as to why, I didn't tell the guy about Margaret and Melissa and I didn't get into that. I mean, I could have said Jill Zarin lives down the street and my other neighbor is Countess Loanne over there, but I didn't get into anything. I was like, thank you, sir. First of all, what a, I don't want to say push job but I mean, if you are going to go into the police force and it's like, choose the box of where you want to work, New York City, LA or anywhere in the
Sag Harbor.
Hamptons. I mean, right. We got nothing here, guys. The guy was like, oh, I'll come over for tea tomorrow. I'm like, oh, come over for tea anytime. We'll call. It's like nothing happens here in Sag Harbor. Knock on wood, I should say that again, and like something will. So that's all. That's my story. I love my Bo Dietl. There you go, Sarah. You got a good story out of me today.
You are too. Okay. Well, don't get too paranoid. I feel like
you know what it is, though? It's not these sick humans, Marge, and it's that I'm people love to make fun of me when I say this. As a lawyer, you are trained for 3 years to just expect big world things. Like I'm not a happy person. I really do love my life. I've set it up exactly how I want. You just expect big picture. Like when something happens, my mind skips through B through Y and I go right to Z as like, this is the end. This is the end of the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. This is the end of this relationship. This is the end of someone's life that I care about. I think big picture. That's just my mind. I can't help it. I think that has to do with going to law school.
you're also kind of like, a Jewish mom, it's like they're notorious worriers, for the worst case scenario.
But it's not even like I worry because I'm not scared of anyone. I just am anticipating. I don't know. That's why it's kind of what you're taught in law school. You're taught to anticipate the worst. So there you go. Speaking of Jewish moms.
Thank God. Yes. Okay. Thank God we're all right. All right. Tell me.
Speaking of Jewish moms, shout out to my neighbor, the one, the only, Miss Zarin. I got to have Miss Zarin over. She just posted her. Let me tell you something, Jill. I want to say this because Jill, listen, she admits I'm not.
Jill, we love it.
We love Jill. When I think of Jill Zarin, decor, I think of that season 1, season 2. And by the way, when Jill hears something on this podcast she doesn't like, you don't even get a hello, how are you? You just get a like, what's wrong with this? And there's no context. So the minute Jill says that, I have to think of, I literally will respond, oh God, what did I say now that you're unhappy with? Because like, there's no context. You think I remember what I'm going to say on this podcast with you, Sarah, when it comes out in a week? I don't know. So that's Jill. She's really funny. But when I think of Jill Zarin's decor, home decor, I think of that season 1, season 2, that blue and all the over gold. And I'm not, it wasn't my taste, Jill. My taste is very minimal, very streamlined. But Jill just posted a video of her new, she redid she's literally down the street. She redid her place in SAG and she posted a video of Jill Zarin, let me tell you, we have a similar decor now. It was all streamlined, and anyone go and watch Jill's video. It's really her new place is really nice. So Jill, you said you were going to have me over for dinner like about a month ago. Where is that? And I got to have you over. But speaking of Jewish mothers, it makes me think of Jill Zarin. That Bethenny Frankel, she is shading our Jill. Well, she keeps talking about the housewives, girl. And we'll get into all these other things, but she just did some TikTok where she was like talking about off